Hi everyone, welcome back to That Japan Life with me, Jill. So, I remember very clearly that it was on a warm spring morning this year, 2023, when I woke up to what, for me, is one of the bestest news ever. A Warner Brothers studio tour is opening up in Tokyo and it's going to be showcasing sets from the Harry Potter franchise. Now, you might think that I'm exaggerating when I say that that's one of the bestest news ever, but you see, the thing is, I'm a Potterhead. I know everybody in my generation says that, but I'm a vintage Harry Potter stationery collecting, Ravenclaw pin wearing, Tumblr with a snitch design using Potterhead who, at 30, still has a makeup kit that has a Diagon Alley print, a Hedwig pen holder, and a collection of Hogwarts bookmarks, pins, and notebooks. Oh, and I reread the entire book collection last year, like I do every few years. I'm that kind of Potterhead. So, on that spring morning, I scoured the internet for any information I could get about the soon to be opening attraction, and I find out that tickets will be sold starting on March 22 at exactly 2 p.m. And I kid you not, I bookmarked the website for the tickets right away, and I also set an alarm for March 22 at 2 p.m. So, less than 20 seconds after the clock struck 2 p.m. on March 22, 2023, I was already on the website of Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo and ready to purchase my ticket. And guess what? Ta-da! There were 72,661 people in front of me in the queue. You might think that that was enough to discourage me, but no sir. I remained steadfast and I did not close that browser until I was able to really reserve my ticket on the very same day. And it only took me about 7 hours. Needless to say, I'm not planning on that being my last trip to Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo, the making of Harry Potter, but that first trip taught me a lot of valuable tips that I sure will keep in mind on my next visits. And today I would like to share those tips with you. Specifically, I want to talk about 4 mistakes I did Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo, the making of Harry Potter, and one thing that I absolutely did right. Mistake number 1. Not bringing my good camera. Okay, hold up. This is not to say that you need to purchase a high-end camera if you don't already have one when you go there. But this is just to say that if you do have one, then you should use it. And if you don't, then you just have to be very strategic about the shots that you do take. As the name says, it's a studio. Almost everything is indoor, which means artificial lighting, and that translates to grainy videos and poorly lit pictures. So when you go there, you have to be very mindful about the pictures that you do take. Well, at least if you want to post some decent pictures on the gram. For example, in Diagon Alley, the lighting changes to like mimic night and day conditions. So wait for when that area of the studio is at its brightest before you take your shots. Or inside the very dark, forbidden forest area of the attraction, angle your cameras so that you can take advantage of the spotlights if you want to take a video or a picture of the creatures that are there. Mistake number 2, getting an evening ticket. After waiting virtually with more than 72,000 people ahead of me on the queue, you could imagine how excited I was when I finally got my turn at buying the ticket. So I wasn't really thinking very clearly about the schedule of my visit, and my only condition at that time was that I wanted to get the earliest ticket that I could on a weekend because I wanted to go there with my son and my husband, so we needed to go there on the weekend. And the earliest ticket I could find happened to be on a Saturday at 5 p.m. This was a huge mistake for the same reason as number 1. The backlot area is the only place where you could get some natural lighting because it's outside and it's not covered by a roof. It contains some very memorable sets like Hagrid's Hut, the Dursleys' Plays at number 4 Private Drive, the Night Bus, Hagrid's motorbike, which if you're a true fan, you would know is actually something that belonged to Sirius Black. And then you could also find there the giant chessboard and chess pieces from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And one of my favorites, the wooden bridge that Seamus blew up to prevent the Death Eaters from advancing. Now, you would get to the back lot about halfway through the entire tour. So that's like an hour and a half into the tour. So a 5 p.m. entry meant that we would get to the back lot about 6:30. Lucky for me, we went there in the midst of summer, so I could still salvage a few minutes of sunlight before the sun eventually set. It would be worse if you got an evening ticket during the colder seasons because when you get there, it's already going to be very dark. So the tip here is, as much as you can, try to get an earlier ticket. Mistake number 3, getting the full package. What do I mean when I say the full package? Well, when you buy a ticket for Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo, after you reserve the day and the time for your visit, you'll be asked if you also wanted to add the digital guide and the souvenir guidebook. So, being the very excited fan that I was, I decided to add both. I don't mind getting the souvenir guidebook so much because it makes for a nice addition to my collection. And also, I get to keep it anyway, so no matter how many times I visit the place, I don't have to buy it again. I just have to buy it this once. At 2,500 yen, it is a bit pricey, but considering the price of books in Japan, where, a thin toddler's book would cost close to 1,000 already, I don't think it's a bit too pricey. Also, the pictures in the book are very high quality and the info shared there are pretty interesting. Now, what I really regret is also getting the digital guide. The digital guide is basically this handheld device that comes with a headset, and you get to wear it, and it shares information about what is being exhibited, like in what movie you saw it, or what the significance of this magical creature, magical thing is. This device, which cost me an additional 1,300 yen to rent, was not worth it for me because our party of 3 ended up not using it, like never using it, not once. Personally, I did not use it because I felt like wearing a headset is not very convenient to go around having the tour. Also, I already know what the things on display are, what the costumes are, what this set is, from what movie this is. So I did not really find it very convenient or very necessary. Besides, that headset really didn't go well with my attire for the day. So I passed it on to my husband and he tried it on for a couple of minutes, but just as I did, he did not find it to be very convenient. Although he's not as familiar with the Harry Potter universe as I was, and he did not necessarily know what all of the things on display are, he told me that it was entertaining enough for him to just look at everything and immerse himself with the sets and, appreciate the details and all the props that was on display. So in a last bid to take advantage of the rental, we passed it on to my son, but he ended up just tinkering with all of the buttons in the handheld. Now I know that a lot of the reasons that I gave hinge on personal preference, but just to let you know, I also saw a couple of people who were just holding the device and not really using it, or they weren't really using the headset and all that, so they weren't taking advantage of it. And there were many people who decided to rent the digital guide to begin with. So unless you really want to be very nerdy about it and know everything that is significant about whatever is on display, I think you should just go without the digital guide. Mistake number 4, getting food inside. I know, it's universal knowledge that amusement parks and facilities like the Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo don't really make for the best dining experiences, taste-wise and price-wise. Still, I had very high hopes, and since we had a 5 p.m. ticket reservation, my plan was that we get there a bit early, have a light meal or snack, have the tour with full stomachs, and then once we're done, also eat inside the facility. When we got there a bit earlier as planned, we secured a bench in the Great Hall inspired dining area, and then I headed to the Frog Cafe, which is where they sell Harry Potter inspired sweets, and my husband headed over to the food hall, which is where they sell close to what you would define as meals. As expected, the prices were ridiculous when I went to the Frog Cafe, so a simple cupcake that's already 600 yen. Still, I decided to get the Hagrid cake, basically just chiffon cake, and then there's this icing plate on top where you have the very iconic Happy Birthday Harry, and this cost us 900 yen, and there's nothing really special about the taste. My husband, on the other hand, got the pizza margarita and also the buttermilk chicken. The pizza, which is priced at a ridiculous 1,500 yen, is small, and also it tasted like something that would come out of a primary school cafeteria. The chicken was okay. It tasted like buttermilk fried chicken, but it surely did not warrant a price of 1,000 yen. Still trying not to be completely phased, when we got to the back lot, we decided to try out the popcorn and butterbeer combo, which costs 1,700 yen for popcorn and a drink. And then the butter beer ended up being very, very, very sweet. Now, a small consolation though is that if you get this set, you get to keep the cup that the butter beer comes in. So you get to bring that with you home. And there's an area at the back lot where you get to rinse it off, and they would also give you a bag to place it in. So at the end of the day, we ended up getting dinner at a yakiniku place about 15 minutes from Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo by foot, and it was delicious. Now on to the one thing I absolutely did right. I scanned a QR code that the staff told me to scan, even though I wasn't really sure what to do with it or what it was for. It turns out that scanning that QR code allowed me to download high quality videos of the green screen experiences inside the facility. And when I say green screen experiences, those include like being a spectator at a Quidditch match, or traveling by Flu Network, or even flying using your own broomstick, and also like getting a portrait that would be posted on the walls of Hogwarts. In all of my excitement, I can't believe that I didn't know that this was how the visitors in the facility took advantage of the green screen experience. So basically what happens is that you first need to register on a website, and then every time you're about to do a green screen experience, then you need to scan a QR code. Once you've done that, you would be able to download videos of your green screen experience up to 30 days after your visit. I know, it sounds a bit complicated. Lucky for you, you watched this video. And so if you don't already know, I can tell you that Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo itself actually prepared a very useful PDF guide for how you can take advantage of this. And I will link it in the description below. So be sure to read it and register on the site even before your visit, because it's just going to make things so much easier. There you have it, everyone. Those are the 4 mistakes that I did on my first visit and the one thing that I absolutely did right. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you enjoy your visit to Warner Brothers Studio Tour Tokyo, the making of Harry Potter. Bye bye!